Hello everyone, my name is Mark Gaburi, the teenager entrepreneur, author of How to Be Successful on Twitter, and I have my own blog at www.markgaburi.com that gets updated twice a day about business, social media, and blogging tips, and I am in the process of writing a new book called Lead the Stampede, which is all about leading your niche. And one of the topics I talk about in Lead the Stampede is passion. And I am very impressed with one woman's journey, and that woman is Shannon Oleen. Shannon is a motivational speaker who has been involved a lot in sports, and one of the things she has done is she has become a professional NFL cheerleader for her hometown team, the Kansas City Chiefs. Now she is a motivational speaker who empowers young adults with lessons in order to lead better and happier lives. So, without any further ado, I would like to introduce Shannon Oleen. Hello, Shannon.
Mark, it's so great to be here on your show with you. Thanks so much for having me.
My pleasure. Now, I do have some questions for you. And then the first question I have for you is, how were you able to find a passion for sports? Does this have anything to do with your family, or I just want to have an idea of how you were able to be passionate in sports and eventually become a professional NFL cheerleader and also do a lot of sports as well.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Fun facts about my background. I grew up in a very athletic family. I have a great uncle who actually played Major League Professional Baseball and pitched in 2 World Series. And it was just really a huge piece of my background that we were very athletic in all areas. And so as a child, my father was very excited about having me also join the ranks as being an athlete, and I didn't take up softball whatsoever. None of the sports really necessarily interested me as far as me personally playing them until I got to high school, and my freshman year, I just fell in love with cheerleading. I felt like that was my way of giving back to the sports and athletic community in my own way, and I think a lot of it fits my personality as well. So here's the challenge, and you asked, how did I become an NFL cheerleader? The challenge is that since I didn't grow up cheering and dancing, then I was really behind as far as the skill level and really trying to compete with some of the other girls in my high school and even at the collegiate level. And so I had to work really, really hard to continue making the teams all through high school and college. And then eventually, when I decided that I wanted to try out for the NFL, I'll be honest, I didn't make the NFL my first year. In fact, I failed miserably. But it was really important to me, and I was so in love with that I wanted to do everything that I could to make that dream come true for myself. And so that's what I did. I worked really hard, and I made it. So there I am.
Wow, I'm very impressed with your ability to stick with that because I know that it takes a lot of work and effort and long hours to eventually become a professional NFL cheerleader and also becoming a motivational speaker. You don't get to build a presence on the web in the snap of the fingers. It takes time to actually be able to build that presence and become the professional NFL cheerleader. So, what was your motivation as you went through the practices of being a professional NFL cheerleader, and in addition, your job that you currently have, which is a motivational speaker for young adults?
Yeah, so I think the lessons that I learned about wanting to pursue my biggest dream of being able to cheer professionally, my biggest lesson that I learned was that nothing comes easy in life. And it didn't matter whether or not I grew up cheering and dancing like some of the other girls, they still had the same challenges that I did as far as being the best of the best in the NFL. And so if there's anything I learned from that, it's that work ethic and perseverance are really what's going to get you through in life. And so fast forward a few years, when I decided
Well, thank you for sharing that with us, Shannon. Now, I do have a question for you. Since you are a motivational speaker, why did you choose to target young adults in particular? Is there like a backstory to why you chose young adults, or is there some other reason that you decided that young adults would be the people who you would talk to?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I'm so glad you asked that because it's really important to me the communities that I've chosen to really talk to and try to connect with. I personally identify with young adults the most, mostly probably because I did have a lot of challenges personally, both in high school and college. My mother passed away a month before I graduated from college, and there are just other things that had happened in those years of my life that I realized there are so many of us that either we A, don't know what we're doing or we don't know where we want to go. B, we don't necessarily have great role models to help us figure those plans out. And three, maybe we just, we do. We just need a little bit of guidance. And for me, I identify with that so greatly. And so that's why I really chose to say, I really want to work with young adults and I want to be that person who can give them hope and share my own personal stories with them and say, hey, I made it through these hurdles and you can too.
That is a really great reason to choose young adults as your target audience. I'm just by thinking about that story, I mean, you're using your past experiences and you're telling people that I went through this and you will be able to go through this too and be successful as well. And I've been visiting your blog like for a lot and I'm really impressed with the content you put on. And then I saw the pictures on your blog and one of the pictures was think outside of the box.
Yeah.
I am very curious with how that actually happens. So, can you share with us some tips about how we could all think outside of the box?
I often say that if I were to, well, I guess I don't say this a lot, but in my own mind, I would say that if I were to pass away tomorrow, or if I had to quit speaking tomorrow, and if people had to say, what was Shannon Oleen's legacy? The biggest thing that I think people would say about me is that I never followed the status quo. I never allowed
Wow, I cannot imagine no social media or no phones or anything for an entire 24 hours.
No,
What a journey! Now,
I know.
I have been watching your YouTube videos also, and I remember that one of your YouTube videos was what could you do if you knew you could never fail. So, they are very motivational, and I was just wondering for the people watching this video, what is one motivational message you could share right now for all the people watching?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that success does not come to you. You go to success. We're so easily swayed and giving up before we actually finish the race in so many things in life. And if I could leave like one thing for anybody in your audience or just anybody out there watching this video, that you have to be willing to work harder than the next person. And one of the best pieces of advice that was actually given to me a long time ago when I was in the corporate world was successful people are willing to have a seven in their schedule. And the first time I heard that, I thought, what in the world does that mean? But the more I got to thinking about it, I was like, that's so true. Successful people are up working at 7 o'clock. They're not rolling out of bed and getting to the office at 8:31. You know, successful people, if they're not at the office at 7 a.m., they're willing to stay at the office until 7 p.m. You know, they're willing to put in the extra work and the extra effort to make their dreams happen. So I think if I can leave anything with your audience, is that success does not come to you. You go to success.
Thank you for that motivational message. That is true. Success does not come to you because if success came to us, then everyone would be successful. Then success would be too easy and there wouldn't be thousands of books and blog posts about becoming successful. So, before this interview comes to a close, I'm going to give Shannon the opportunity to share with you all the places where you can find her. I have mentioned her blog and her YouTube channel, but Shannon has various other social networks and other places where you can find her on the web.
Yeah, you can find me on basically every social media outlet there is out there. And it's all just a hashtag and then my name. So Shannon Oleen. And my last name is spelled Oleen. So Twitter, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Vine. I love Vine. Although again, I told you that I'm not very creative, so I don't really come up with that many Vines that I'm on there. Um, YouTube and Google Plus. So
Well, there you have it from Shannon Oleen. Had a passion for sports. She turned into a professional NFL cheerleader. Then Shannon pursued her passion even further by becoming a motivational speaker where she talks to young adults with empowering messages. So, thank you for joining us, Shannon, on this Google Hangout, and have a good night.